Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first of many things I'm doing on a road to Superman, to James Gunn's Superman. Now, I hope with every fiber in my being that that movie is good, and it's the Superman movie we have been wanting for years. So, to get myself hyped and excited, and to remind myself of who Superman is, even though, I'll never forget, but just in case, get myself prepped, I've been going through a bunch of Superman media, and I'm going to document it here on The Road to Superman, which we're here for. So I started it off with What Better Way? The 1978 movie. So, alright. I have seen this movie many times as a kid. Because, Superman was, for a long time, my favorite superhero as a kid. That has now changed. Superman is now number 2. He's been overtaken by Nightwing. But Superman still is near and dear to my heart. I love the character of Superman because he's hope. That's what he is. He's hope, he's kindness, and he is justice in an unjust world. That is Superman. He stands for truth, justice, and the American way. And so as a kid, how can I not gravitate towards that? And I did. I gravitated towards Superman immediately as a kid. I would spend hours of my time, right, watching Superman the animated series as a kid. That to me is like Superman. And then of course I've watched all the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Even as a kid, didn't like 3 and 2. 3 and 4. Didn't like 3 and 4 as a kid, even then. And then, of course, there came, Justice League, the animated series, where as a little kid, I would wait for Superman to appear on the intro and would imitate him punching through the wall because that's how much of a Superman fan I was. I dressed up as Superman multiple times as a kid for Halloween. I even had Superman jammies, which came with a little cape that you could stick on. I'm a huge Superman fan. He is one of my favorites. And to see the slander his character has gotten over the years, and to see stuff like The Boys do like Homelander, and Invincible does Omni-Man. It's like, oh yeah, the all-powerful, godlike superhero, not actually good. It's like, of course, I'm tired of the evil Superman thing, right? I want Superman, who is the personification of all that is good about humanity. That is Superman. And that's what this movie does, baby. Oh boy. So let's get into it. So the movie starts, of course, on Krypton. I love that. And they already set up for the sequel with General Zod getting sent to the Phantom Zone. That is perfect. I don't know how I feel about the Phantom Zone. I don't know which version of the Phantom Zone I like more, because there's, the version which is in the movie, which is like, it's all glass, like you're in like a glass, like prism thing. And then there's the one where it's like, the Phantom Zone is like like a weird warped version where there's rocks that you kind of hop on and people have like settlements and all that. It's basically, because the Phantom Zone is just another dimension, not really a prison. So I don't know. I don't mind either iteration of the Phantom Zone. But of course, Jor-El has the theory that Krypton's gonna explode, right? The planet is dying. We need to go, but of course the council doesn't listen to him. So Jor-El takes matters into his own hands, and he and Lara send their son Kal-El in a ship off to Earth while Krypton explodes, making Superman the last son of Krypton. Superman, of course, lands in Kansas, where he meets Jonathan and Martha Kent, who adopt him, and he is now Clark Kent. We then move on to teenage years of Clark, where he is trying to get the attention of Lana Lang. And, he's dismissed because, he's just Clark Kent. Who the heck are you? And then, we get to see his abilities as a kid, right? Like, he runs faster than a train. And he starts talking with his dad, where his dad says a great thing where he's like, I don't know why you were sent here to Earth, but it wasn't to win races, it wasn't to pass trains. You were sent here for a reason. And then we get the scene where Jonathan Kent dies from a heart attack, which I don't always like his dad dying. You know, I get why. It's to show Clark that you can't, you know, even with all these powers, he can't stop something like a heart attack, because that's like, his powers can't fix that. It's a great thing to show, right? To show Clark you can't save everyone, you can't stop everything despite how powerful you are. But I like it in Superman the Animated Series where his dad lives. He's got both the parents, you know? I like it that way. He has both mom and dad. I like it that way. He suffers enough. He suffered enough. So after his dad dies, he then tells his mother, I'm going to go north, you know, to figure out who I am, where the Fortress of Solitude is then shown, and Jor-El, the hologram of Jor-El, then spends, what is it, 10 years? Is it 10 years teaching him everything? 12 years, sorry, it's 12. He spent 12 goddamn years teaching him and training Clark. Jeez Louise, that's probably just so that way they could say when Superman shows up, he's 30. You know, that's probably the only reason. Then he goes, we have the debut of Christopher Reeve playing Clark. He is fantastic. Like, I don't need to say it, that Christopher Reeve is just incredible as Clark Kent. He puts the dynamic of being the nerdy, clumsy, bumbling, mild-mannered reporter Clark Kent, and then playing Superman, the imposing force and figure, right? Like, he does a great job of pulling that off. And it's great to see his introduction with Lois. I always love the scene where he asks Perry White to send half his salary to this address, and Lois makes a joke, oh, don't tell me. He sends it to his sweet gray-haired old mother, and he just responds, actually, she's silver-haired. Love that. Love it. Then there's the scene where he and Lois get mugged. That's awesome. I love that scene because, you know, he has to play the bumbling Clark Kent. I can't do anything. And then he actually saves Lois from getting shot, and she doesn't know it, and she's just kind of frustrated, like, oh, he's just goofy Clark, right? The scene where he eventually changes into the costume for the first time is great. I mean, of course, it's iconic, right? He runs, pulls his suit out, and we see the emblem. I love how he changes, right? He goes into, like, you know, like when you enter like the hotel and they got like the spinning door thing. He uses that to change, and then he saves Lois from falling out of a helicopter. That's awesome. Lex Luthor in this is very different to Lexes that we know, right? Like, this Lex is already known as a criminal, right? He's already a criminal, and he lives off the grid, so he can't be found. Very different to the Lex Luthor we know of, where he just kind of runs LexCorp, and he does his criminal shady stuff behind closed doors, and it's only like the knowing people know, like Lois and Jimmy and of course Superman know that Lex Luthor's actually a criminal, you know, type of thing. But this one, it's like, no, he's just a known criminal. His plot is, of course, to use missiles and drown the West Coast and make a new West Coast in his image, because he's bought all the property and people will pay him and all that type of stuff, right? Luthorville, Casa de Lex, all that type of stuff, right? He'd make a new West Coast that he owns. I love how this movie isn't just Luthor's plot. It also then has like a lot of side stuff where it's just Superman saving people, right? You get to see him stop a robbery when the thugs go on the boat, and he takes the boat and just drops it in front of the police station, where there's a criminal who's scaling a building and Superman stops him, where he saves a cat from a tree, baby. Yeah, hell yeah. I love how they have that side stuff as well, just to show you like the other stuff is about Superman. It's not just Luthor's plot. Luthor's plot is there, but then there's the side stuff where we're just showing Superman being Superman, which is great. And then his interview with Lois. What more can I say? That's iconic. There's gonna be an interview type thing in James Gunn's one, which is from what I've seen. I mean, I'm guessing what it is in the James Gunn one is that it's Lois preparing Superman for when he gets hard-hitting questions, But again, I need context to see that. But from what I get, I'm not a huge fan of that. But we'll see. It's apparently 10 minutes. Jesus Louise. He's probably trying to emulate this one from this movie, but this one is much better because of the dynamic of Lois and Superman, where Lois is trying to get Superman to answer her questions, but she's also flirting with him, and then he flirts back. It's fantastic. Of course, I feel like Superman gave way too much information here, right? From the planet Krypton and all that stuff. Like, he's from another planet, the planet called Krypton, and he came here like 30 years ago, and he's not an enemy, he's just here to fight for truth, justice, the American way. Like, that's fine. But then he goes around and he says, oh, I can't see through lead. Like, why would you tell her this, bro? You're literally putting your entire weakness, your entire power set is being put on here. You're literally giving your wiki page to the Daily Planet to publish to everyone. Like, what are we doing, bro? You might as well have just said, oh, my name's Clark Kent at this point, dude. Like, what the hell? But eventually... Oh, and after this interview scene, we get the flight scene, which is great. Then we get Christopher Reeve again showcasing how great he is at being Superman and Clark, because he then comes in as Clark, acting all bumbly, and then he just immediately changes to Superman. His posture straightens, he takes off the glasses, his voice is more deeper and confident, and then he immediately goes back to being to Clark. It's fantastic. So then Superman, he meets Lex, after Lex has, set the missiles to where he wants. By the way, when them setting the missiles is a great funny bit. When Miss Tessmacher has to pretend to be an injured woman in a car crash to distract the Navy troops, and the guard's like, well, I guess we have to help her, and they're gonna go give mouth to mouth, and then the sergeant shows up and goes, I wouldn't do anything I wouldn't ask my men to do, I'll do it. That is peak. I love that. Also, Luthor's many disguises of trying to stop the Navy guys. Do they not notice that this is the same dude? Like, first he's an ambulance driver, then he's a truck driver. Like, do they not notice this dude? Yeah, he changes his hair. Do they not notice it's the same dude, though? Like, really? Come on, man. Also, the joke that Luthor wears wigs. Great. So Luthor gets kryptonite. He puts it over Superman, throws him in their pool, hoping he drowns, and Superman can't stop the missiles. Oh no, but Miss Tessmacher, she helps him because she has a conscience, and Luthor has a missile set for Hackensack, and she's like, Lex, my mother lives in Hackensack, and Lex just responds by looking at his watch and then shaking his head, going like, no, you don't, not anymore. That is asshole. So Superman saves the missile from Hackensack. Then he doesn't get to save the missile from hitting a dam, which causes a big flood. He manages to stop the flood, but he doesn't stop a big rock slide from happening, which kills Lois, who was on her way, who was doing an interview. She was in her car driving. Well, I don't know why this woman kept driving during an aftershock and a big rock slide. Stop the car, woman. Stop the car. And then Lois dies, and we get the stupidest scene in this movie. And the one thing, as a kid, I liked. But now as I've gotten more into Superman, right, watch more of the shows, I've read a bunch of the Superman comic books now. Now that I'm an actual, like, deep Superman fan, I'm like, this is stupid. I think it's so dumb. He rewinds the Earth to reverse time. Yeah, no, don't worry. There's gonna be an even dumber scene in Superman 2. Just you wait. And then of course he takes Lex and Otis, who is the bumbling fool. He throws them in jail, and he soars off into the sun. Looks at the camera, gives it a smile, and we're done. Superman is a fantastic movie. It still hasn't been beaten. I don't think any Superman movie has beaten this at all. Maybe Superman 2. But I mean, like, Superman 3 and 4 don't come close to this. Superman Returns doesn't do it. Man of Steel definitely doesn't do it. I mean, nothing beats it. Right? Nothing beats it movie-wise. I mean, animated movies, we can have a discussion. Like, Superman vs. the Elite. That's amazing, you know? So that might do it as well. But I mean, like, this movie's just Still holds up even to this day. Even to this day, it's Superman. Like the beginning where it's showing a kid going through Action Comics with Superman's debut. Of course, how can I talk about the opening? Phenomenal opening, and it has the iconic John Williams Superman theme in this. The whole soundtrack is fantastic. John Williams did great. And the performances, right? I mean, Christopher Reeve as Superman, he is phenomenal. I don't need to say anymore. We all adore Christopher Reeve as Superman. Gene Hackman is great as Lex Luthor because he's funny yet evil, right? He has the good dynamic. Margaret Kidder as Lois, she's great because she is, she's the same Lois. She's feisty, you know, not standoffish, but you know, she's bullheaded. She doesn't she's not complacent to all stuff. She'll fight for what she believes in, and then she also has a crush on Superman, which is good. Perry White, by the way, Jackie Cooper as Perry White, great. I love Perry White in this. Seriously, man, he's freaking great in this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I can say, man. Like, this movie's fantastic. It's fantastic. Like, this is the Superman movie. I can't say anymore. If you want Superman, this is the movie. And Superman 2, of course. But, like, fantastic movie. We are never gonna get something like this again. We're never gonna get a superhero movie like this again, which respects the superhero origins of it all, embraces it all, and portrays them so faithfully. I mean, Lex, you know, take it or leave it, but I mean, like, Lois is very faithful, Superman's freaking faithful, and they don't bash him at all. They just accept, yeah, he's here, he's a good person, and showing all the good Superman does. It's phenomenal. You're never gonna get a movie like this. We need a movie like this. Definitely. We need a superhero movie like this to save the superhero industry, because it's dying. The movie superhero industry is dying, and we need a movie like this to save it. That could be James Gunn's Superman. We shall see. That's in a couple days now. I am gonna go watch it because it's Superman. And I hope it can at least give a sense of this movie. That's all it needs. It doesn't need to replicate it one-to-one directly. It just needs to give a feel of, like, this. Right? That's what it needs. It just needs a feel of this. Invoke sense of, like, oh, that's like 78. Right? That's what you need. And I hope they can do that. I really hope they can do that. They have shown in some of the trailers they're leaning into the more comic book aspects with the robots and the Fortress of Solitude. Of course, we have Crypto, which James Gunn is pushing way too much. Lex is an ass. He's a pure villain from what we've seen. That's great. I do feel that, again, in the new one, we have way too many heroes in that for a Superman movie, but that's... I digress here. I'm getting off track. Superman 78, back at again, praising this movie for the phenomenal thing that it is. It's fantastic. Like, 10 out of 10, really, I think is all I can give. I think the only problem I have is the spinning around the world to restart time, which is dumb. But that's it. I mean, like, because when I watch this movie, I never feel its full runtime. I never feel the full runtime. Not one bit. It's 2 hours and 23 minutes, and I never feel that. I never feel it. It just flies by, because that's how immersive and how good this movie is. So yeah, Superman 78, it's a 10 out of 10, I would say. I can't find much faults with it. So 10 out of 10. It is 10 out of 10. So that's it. Of course, let me know what you think about Superman 78 in the comments down below. Next should be Superman 2, The Donner Cut, which is the true version of Superman 2. Damn it. That'll be next. And then after that, I'll probably move into some cartoon Superman movies, like Superman vs. the Elite. I got comic books, of course. I've got a list I've made myself of what to experience before Superman the movie, the new one, comes out. A lot of the animated series is gonna be rewatched for this. So yeah, that's it. So thank you all for listening, and I will see you all next time.